McFadden from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'd like to say good afternoon, and it's an honor for me to be here and be a part of this celebration. It's just so wonderful. I think about homecoming and family when I see this type of audience. But I also think about James and Grace Boggs, a couple that we're here to celebrate and honor and praise this evening. I had the honor of meeting for the first time James and Grace Boggs in 1965 at the request of a brother that could not be here this evening, William R. Davis. Bill Davis, as he's known to all of us that knew him. And he, like Grace and James Boggs and myself, and all of you and many of you, wanted to make a difference. We looked at life and we decided that something needed to be done. And as many speakers have said this evening, when James and Grace looks at a situation, they don't say, who would do this? They say, help me get it done. And they are already working. It's interesting that James Boggs came from Marion, Alabama, just a little time before I came from Thomasville, Alabama. One of the things that Vincent Harding suggests and always quote, is there anything good that can come out of Alabama? And when I think about that, and when I answer that, I said yes. But very often I think first of James Boggs. He's a forerunner, a pace setter, an advocate for peace and justice for all. And it's been an honor for me to be a son, to have a father and a mother, to have a sister and a brother, to have a guide, to have someone to look up to have someone to help, to have someone to inspire and motivate. One of the best things that happened to Grace and Jimmy many years ago, when they recognized that they could no longer be a part of an organization and society that says African Americans are just adjunct. That they come along when everything else is all worked out and we fit them in place. You know that angered both of them, and particularly James. And when you get angry and you know that you're right, you must move. You must be able to inspire those who are not ready to move and go forward. And that's what happened in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And you know the 90s. James always said that all we needed was a pitiful few. And unfortunately, up until this time, we've always had a pitiful few. But we, as this gathering indicates, will gain momentum and we will get what we need to get the job done. We're confident and we know that will happen. But I want to say, when you can move into an environment and take human beings that's just ordinary and average and inspire them and motivate them to feel that they can give leadership to the most advanced country and some of the deepest thinkers in the world, just ordinary people who don't feel that they need to go to a university because they don't have anything against them, they just realize their limitations, that they need other processes that they must involve themselves in continuous struggle so that they can move forward. And what happened? All across the country. I was reminded just yesterday that a friend of mine was out in California last week, and you know what they were talking about? In California, didn't even know, but they knew that we were going to be celebrating in Detroit some outstanding leadership. And that's what was on their minds. And they were just talking to ordinary people about James and Grace Boggs, who are revolutionists. And it's very important to understand what that means in relation to African American leadership, because it's not something that you just theorize about. But you must have theories and you must have practice. That is, you must work on it every day on the picket line, in these small, dim, smoke-filled rooms, unhealthy environments, situations that stress you out and take years off of your life. But it must be done. And it's time. If I had to pick a theme that I would focus on today, I would say it's time. And it's time is very important to us. When we started out in Philadelphia in 1969 with pace setters, and then in Detroit with advocators, and in New York with New World developers, and then we just spread it all across the country. We knew it was time, at that time, to start a national organization that would address the fundamental contradiction in the society and provide leadership that would build on and create the revolution that is needed to move humanity forward at this juncture. And we've been working on it. And all of you represent that, and many others that could not be here. It's also time not to wait till they've gone on to a better life, to come together like this and say some very nice things that they couldn't even hear and maybe wouldn't even know. But it's time to do it while they're still on the battlefield, because sometimes you need to know that your soldiers, that your children, that those who look up to you and honor and cherish you are on the battlefield. That they are ready to pick up the charge, that they have learned well, that they've been inspired and motivated, and are ready to move forward. We think and we have an East Coast delegation, and we have many well wishes from people as far away as New York and Philadelphia and Baltimore and that coast that would like to be here, but they couldn't. It was 5 of us. They came, and we enjoyed every mile of the way, just rejoicing about today and James and Grace. And we're prepared to say that these 2 lives have laid the foundation, and if we can know by their example, we will go forward. We know that human beings, the things that they learn, that 90% of what they know does not come by what they read or what they hear, it's what they see. It's the example that they see on a daily basis that inspire them to be themselves larger than they were thinking, and they can move forward. We think Grace and Jimmy, because of the fundamental contradiction in the society, one that places emphasis on material things, economics, and forget about the human side, needs a particular motivation, a particular vehicle, and that vehicle is known as correct leadership. James and Grace represents correct leadership. And it would not be a celebration if we could not say that to them and indicate it by our presence and by our applause that we love you. Comrades across this country and the ones in Philadelphia, we present the certificate of appreciation for your leadership and outstanding motivation.